This is the story of my grandma, Lucy Fino. Her birth name is Lucia Munoz, but people call her Lucy. My grandma was born in Midland, Texas, where to this day, she still lives there. She was born in 1958 and is 66 years old. Her mother is Atilia Munoz, and she was born in Big Spring, Texas in 1922. Her father is Maximo Munoz, and he was born in Midland, Texas in 1918.
My mom was a rock, and she was the one that ran our home. Dad was absent a lot, but he was in the picture. He was just gone a lot with work, and after work maybe he'd go drinking or something. So the one that we could always depend on was my mom.
All of her grandparents were born in Mexico or close to Mexico, and that is where her Spanish roots come from. Her parents had 9 kids, and she was number 8 out of the 9. She went to Midland High School and graduated from there in 1976.
School holds a lot of really great memories. I love school. I was one of those weird kids that really liked school. I did really good in school, made really good grades. I could probably tell you every teacher's name that I had, but one in particular was my 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Cranford. And she especially stands out because she was the only teacher that actually read to us. Like 30 minutes before the school day was out, she would read a story to us, and the memorable one was called The Other Side of the Mountain. And I can still hear her voice. I just love just thinking back about that.
At the age of 10, her brother Mickey Munoz introduced her to Jesus, and that was the most important decision she has ever made.
I'm going to say the biggest and most important change was at the age of 10 or 11 when I accepted Jesus as my Savior. My brother Mickey was a horrible, horrible person, drunk, and he went into the Army, and it just made him worse. But when he came out, he had a change of life, change of heart. As a family, we thought he's been hypnotized or something, because you can't change overnight. And so when he did, he came home and introduced us to Jesus. And so we started going to church, which we hadn't before, not on a regular basis. And so when I was introduced to Jesus, that's what I wanted.
Her childhood was full of memories and fun. My grandma grew up in a poor household, but despite that, she has always remembered sweet memories.
So we were very poor financially, but we were rich in love. It was about walking home from school, and it makes me laugh because your pop says that I would go over hills covered with snow to get to school, and there's no more hills in Midland because I wore them out. But really, one of my favorite memories was walking home from school. We lived on a dirt road, and as I got closer to home, I could see my mom's house, and I could start smelling food cooking. And so I think those are sweet memories. I knew there was going to be a pot of beans on the stove. There was going to be tortillas being made.
Grandma's first job was helping her dad with landscape company. She did not get paid for that job, but her dad would buy her food, and that was a big thrill for her.
My dad had a job with a landscape company. He would go and mow, he would edge, which there wasn't any weed edgers then. What do they call them? Weed eaters? They didn't have any weed eaters. He would do it with scissors. He'd get down on his knees and he would cut the grass all along the edges with clippers. And my job was to get under the bushes in the flower beds and clean really good under there, make sure there wasn't any paper stuck in the bushes or any trash or anything.
My grandma was married to Paul in 1973, and she was 15 years old. Pop was 19. They celebrated their 50th anniversary in 2023. Through ups and downs, they have always stayed together. Saying yes to Pop was another important decision that has changed her life forever.
And then the next biggest change was saying yes to my Paul and getting married. Yes, we got married too young, but even in that, God had first place. And so with every child that came along, that was another change that was added with every child. And then even through loss, because our first pregnancy ended up in miscarrying twin boys. And so that was a really hard time for me and for him as well. I didn't know that then. I didn't know how much he was hurting. And then much later, we've lost our parents, and we've lost 3 brothers. We've lost relatives and friends. And so each one of those losses makes us more appreciative of everything else that's going on in our lives, and more appreciative of those that we have left. And with every loss, there's a renewed sense of longing for our heavenly home, because one day we'll all be together again. Because everyone that has passed away at this point, I know, was a Christian. And so I know that I'll see him again.
Through all these years, her family has only increased. She has 3 daughters, 2 sons-in-law, 2 granddaughters, 2 grandsons, 1 grandson-in-law, and 2 great-grandsons. My grandma has a powerful story, and I was blessed to become part of her family. I asked her to give some advice for our generation, and this was what she said.
So I would say learn to lead others to Christ. That's why we're here, and I'm still learning. And then next would be to give myself grace. I think it's become kind of a mantra for me that you can't go back, so go forward and do the next right thing. Did I make a mistake yesterday? Yes. Did you own up to it? But then quit going back. Move forward. I was born on March 4th, and to me that means March 4th. Go forward. Don't be going backwards.